utility of the SAVE Act is not getting more voters for Republicans. They know more than anyone. Republicans have depended on a base of ignorant people voting against their interests, who are the least equipped to get access to a passport or their state-issued Board of Vital Statistics birth certificate. They know that. What the SAVE Act is hearts and minds propaganda. You have to understand that they're creating a world where Israel gets its white ethno-nationalist utopia, which was always the dream of a few crazy Jewish bankers. This is, again, alphabet agencies, Google. That's why we get all this free shit. That's why I get free email. That's why I get free Google Messenger. That's why I get free everything, free maps, and a cost-reduced phone with built-in backdoors, because Alphabet is the alphabet agencies, right? What we can discern from these Epstein emails is he thinks he's with Alphabet. He's just free to talk about whatever the fuck he wants, which no competent mobster would ever do. Nobody who's not with Alphabet is on Alphabet like, see you tonight for pizza, got girls, torture. They're doing that because they know the Alphabet agencies surveilling emails, which was perfectly legal after the Patriot Act. Once you're a person of interest, an enemy, they can surveil everything, and everything's built with a backdoor, right? So what that tells you is Epstein is Alphabet, right? He's like, come to house, torture girl, lol, crying child, lol, lol, lol. So that tells me he does not think he's surveilled by Alphabet, even though everyone knows he's a criminal. He is communicating on that as if he were at the gangster club and there were no windows and no phones. And they're just like, we gotta whack this motherfucker. This motherfucker is a traitor to the fucking FBI. The fucking Alphabet, he's with them. He's communicating like that because he's like, I own Alphabet. I am Alphabet. So that means everything Epstein's saying, you can reasonably conclude is really with the elite throughout. And we can conclude we are run by a Rothschild, Rockefeller, banking Jewish supremacist group that always wants to make Israel as part of fulfillment of the prophecy of Zion as the superior people, and that includes race science. And a lot of the reason they wanted white girls was to bring them to Zora Ranch to do little tricks with genes and babies and possibly raise some of these kids in Israel. I mean, some may have just been tortured to find more genetic information. Some maybe were like stem cell bags. Like you saw Wexner talking to black girls, like, oh, we don't want your kids, but we want to drink their stem cells. Like, but I do strongly believe the main reason they targeted white girls is part of the mission of Zion, of the banking Jewish mafia, that they want the Jews to be the strongest people. They want to kill the Arabs. The Arabs are inferior. N-words, do crime, let's hunt moon cricket. This is all shit they're saying on Alphabet, even though they know they're prominent criminals. I mean, they can go with the narrative that they're not connected to anything bigger. They know they're some of the biggest criminals in the world. If going with this narrative that are not with our government, no. But they're freely sharing their plans on Alphabet. That tells you that they are Alphabet, right? And so basically, unlike a regular person who doesn't know they're surveilled, or a criminal who knows that they're a person of interest and they would never do that, that means they're reasonably secure. Alphabet ain't looking for them. Right? Anyway, the SAVE Act. At this point of the game, it's about hearts and minds. They're so confident they can't be defeated that they've so humiliated the left to the point they literally partner with Alphabet to rape people like me. That they've so humiliated liberals that they think being a good, obedient citizen is the peak of being a liberal, despite liberalism always arising from a blaze of revolution and violence. That you literally have a duty to overthrow your government if they're traitorous criminals betraying the people. They're so sure they're going to win, and there's no way for anyone to overthrow them because they own all the technology. That at this point, it's mostly about demoralizing the people until they accept the future they're making, right? And releasing the Epstein files serves this function. They want people to look at that and say, oh, there's nothing we could do. The government are criminals. So that's one interpretation. If you're smarter like me and you see what this means, right? If you're stupider, okay, they got lies for you. Ehud Barak was working for Russia. Russia's your enemy versus one of our many mafia groups. Russia is a defeated hovel run by a mafia. You know, there's a lot of countries in the world like that, like Haiti's run by gangs. Russia's run by a gang. They just hold down their people and exploit them, and it's all about them. And they're down for services. Just like they sell their girls, they don't even care about their own national pride of raping their own children. They sell their people and their own services, whether it's to Russia or to Israel and America. They don't care, right? That's Russia today. It's basically Haiti. It's just Haiti in the sense, what's Haiti about? A bunch of warlords only out for themselves, holding down the people, right? And you can look at the state of Haiti and the state of Russia, and we did both. We made sure these people were in power. So, but what Russia is a convenient scapegoat. Like, Russia's after us. Russia did it. And Putin's wearing the red band of the bankers. They're the Kabbalists, who are their own special Jews, the most supremacist of the supremacists. In their minds, right? And they wear the red band to symbolize, I'm devoted to you, right? That's what that red band is. It's Kabbalah, and it symbolizes the weird satanic form of Judaism the banking elites practice. I'm not making this up. You can look it up, right? I'm not saying everyone who practices Kabbalah is with them, but they practice an occult version of Judaism to symbolize them being the most superior of the superior. This is what they think, right? Yeah, so at this point, they're not really trying to gain more power, but demoralize the people so they accept their lot. And Epstein serves that purpose. No matter what you believe about it, if you're like me and you see the truth, you're demoralized. If you accept Russia did it and no accountability still because they're all with Russia, you're demoralized. If you accept the MAGA version, which is this has nothing to do with Israel, Trump was trying to stop them, and the files will vindicate him. And, you know, the pedophile swamp's just so big, even though Trump wants to stop it, he can't. You're demoralized. Everyone's demoralized by the Epstein files, right? It's just some are more right than others. My interpretation is probably the closest to the truth. That what rules us boils down to a mafia that controls the banks that's ethnically Jewish primarily. And they made the Illuminati, and they also worship Satanism. And that's what rules us. Right? They're basically lawless criminal Satanists, but only one of these is part of like a hierarchically superior ethno-nationalist mafia. And to point this out is not bigoted any more than if I were to talk about the Italian mafia. I'm part Italian. I'm not in the mafia. If I meet a Jewish person on the street, I don't expect they're anything like Lex Wexner, right? The reason you think that talking about it makes you a bigot is you're so trained to associate colors with power. So you're trained to see a white person, oh, you're part of white supremacy, or if by logic I talk about a Jewish mafia, oh, you must think the Jews are part of a secret. No, I'm not you. I'm not brainwashed by the alpha agencies. I don't look at a regular person and assume they have some secret power. If you're doing that, I suggest you get unbrainwashed. If you look at me and look at me as white supremacy that runs this country, that's on you. I come from a poor family. Half my ancestors were abused in factories and then went on to get fucking PTSD and go crazy from fighting wars. And my other side, one of my ancestors was literally African and was a colonial subject, and the other one was literally just an ethical shit fighting America all the way. Early adopter of civil rights. So, I mean, if you want to ascribe to me the planters and white racism in this country and I like looking at me, that's on you, but I don't do that. So if I talk about a Jewish mafia, no part of me looks at a regular person like you're part of that. So if that's something you do, so you're projecting onto me what you would do, then you need to fix your outlook and stop looking at regular people and how they look and assuming they're part of shit they're not. It's not bigoted to describe a mafia that's ethnic while also being very sane and realizing this has nothing to do with regular people. There's no part of me that thinks a regular person who happens to be Jewish is part of this. Just like if I talk about the heyday of the Italian mafia, my family was not part of that. Most Italian Americans were not part of that. So it's not racist to point out an ethnic mafia. In fact, it's intrinsic to understanding their motivations if the mafia has power and is an ethnic group. Just like if you want to understand the Italian mafia, part of their rituals is you could never be a true made man if you were not Sicilian. They could trace your ancestors back to the old country. You could work with them just like the banking mafia. They have plenty of high-ranking goyim, and they're Illuminati Satanists, but they really can't be the very top. That seems to be the case. Look at someone like Epstein, completely fucking untouchable. All evidence suggests he's not even dead. They switched him out. Yes. I know. Oh, that's a crazy conspiracy theory. Like, it's a crazy conspiracy theory. A guard in the prison where they trace the IP back to the prison hours before anyone knew have anything happened to Epstein. And he's like, oh my God, guys, they switched him out. And Dersh, Israel's lawyer, is saying if Epstein was, see, he's telling the truth. If Epstein was intelligence, he would have never been in prison. He's literally telling the truth. We'll protect him. Epstein's not dead. He's in the witness protection program somewhere. Oh, but that's crazy. It's like, it's really not. And even mafias whack their own people if they have to. So even if he were dead and this were untrue, even though I think it's true simply because that's very good data. Somebody in the prison, they traced the IP back to the prison, said they saw him switch it out hours before anyone knew anything was going to happen. That's high quality evidence, right? But let's go with he's actually dead and they killed him. Mafias whack their own people if they have to. So you could be a made man and still get. It's just being at that level protects you more than others. They'll sacrifice others before you and more executive planning over what the organization does. And if you're a mafia, it makes sense to have ethnic ties because that binds you in a way criminality just don't, right? So that's why most mafias are ethnic. They have the high-ranking members are a certain ethnicity, and orbiters who get rewarded are different, and they use them for different jobs. Same with the Italian mafia, same with the cartels, and same with the Jewish banking mafia. They are a mafia. When you're trafficking humans and selling drugs, but you have so much control because you fund the corporations, you fund everything, that nobody can say so, you're still a mafia, right? Mafias do crimes, contribute nothing, exploit society for their own gain. That's what they are, right? Yeah, so back to what I'm saying, it's demoralization. The SAVE Act is demoralization. It's making the world they want to make cemented. So Epstein files are a demoralization exercise. No matter what you end up concluding, it's demoralizing. But so is the SAVE Act, and they will pass it. And what this is going to do is what they want to be true. You don't have democracy. You don't have a voice. So they're very aware that it's actually going to punish them more because there's fewer low information voters who are in a position to get their passport, their state run birth certificates. They know that very well. They know that liberals are the party of education and are more able to get these things, right? And MAGAs are less able to get these things. Their whole thing is being America is the only country we should care about. So why the fuck would they have a passport or a birth certificate to get a passport, right? There's way more minority voters and educated liberals who have their passport and can get a real ID and be able to vote. But what it will do is tell a swath of the people you have no control of what happens. Oh yes, that's the message they want. At this point, they can steal an election. Right? They're at the point, they have enough technology they can frankly steal an election. Dominion's now owned by MAGAs, now owned by them completely, and they stole the last election. They don't care if you vote or not, and it's not going to affect the outcome of anything. But what it will do is send a message, I have no say in anything in my society, and that's what they want you to feel and think, right? So even though more of their people will be told they can't vote than the left and liberals, they don't care. They want more and more people to say you have no executive. They're past the illusion. They don't want you to have an illusion of control. They're killing liberalism and have been for years now. Before I knew anything, I said it seems like millennials were the last liberal generation. Like they're programming them to think themselves as part of a group. They don't have individual rights, that the highest nobility you can be is to report a citizen for bad thoughts. Like they're literally sacred liberal precedents. They're training it out of Zoomers. It's almost like they're preparing them for a new society that will not be liberal. And I couldn't have been more right. Now I see how depressingly right I was. And so the SAVE Act is not about rigging elections for them. They know it's not going to work for them. But what it will do is demoralize. So now you were like, I saw Facebook and I thought Trump's going to get my job back. I don't got a passport. I've never been out of country. And they can't vote. It's just like you're going to be told what to do. Same with liberals who can't get their passport. Like you have no control. They want that standard, right? Because they know there's no, we're in Russia now. There's no free elections. So it's no longer about keeping up the illusion of free will, but telling people gradually, you have no free will. We decide everything. They believe them. They've been saying democracy's a mistake. I should be able to do whatever I want. We're immortals who are chosen by banking cult to be the fronts of these companies. Like they've been telling you. So don't be surprised when they pass on an act that will, I'm gonna vote but can't no more. I guess I'll just go back to tilling the field and hope they don't take it away from me. They want that. They want everyone to sit there like, I can't do anything. That's why they run this episode, I can't do anything. And I'm here to say you can do something. Because of their arrogance, they've started putting incompetent people in positions of power, just stratified for criminality, a bulldog-like nature, where they'll just tear anything apart with no ethics devoted to a criminal syndicate. If any fucking leftists or like liberals who know the only way out is revolution are listening to this, you must make ties with China. They want to fund an American revolution. They absolutely do. That's why TikTok kept promoting people. You have to rebel. You have to overthrow the government. That's the only place you'll hear that. You won't hear that on FedSky. You won't hear that on fucking Alphabet X. You certainly won't hear that on Alphabet. Literally, they named the company Alphabet to mock you. You're not going to hear you have to overthrow the system there. But TikTok used to say that back when they were allowed to tell people that. So what I'm saying is they want you to feel helpless, and this part is about making you think there's nothing I can do. I can't vote anymore. Voting never did shit anyway. Hasn't done shit for 60 years. Since they got away with killing our president, there's been no voting. All right, everybody after that point was devoted to the banking mafia's person, which was invariably who would promote the prophecy of Zion and ethno-nationalist goals. That's the reality. You can't get elected as president without that being in place, which means you can never represent the American people, right? Because the American people are not interested in this shit, right? I don't know about you, but I don't want to be told I get no health care, no child care, no anything while they get all that shit in Israel, and then my son has to go die for that shit. No American wants that or cares about that, right? But they make sure everybody elected us. Yeah, you can't even be considered as a candidate if you're not. The last person was Kennedy, and he's dead now. Revolution is possible. It's a long shot, but it's possible. And the only way you can get it is not by talking on Discord, which is owned by an Israeli billionaire asking for your face so they can track you down. Not by going on Gmail like Epstein could do. He could do that because he's Alphabet. You can't do that. Patriot Act was signed, and they're allowed to surveil you the moment they think you're an enemy of the people. So what you have to do is go make ties, take a trip to China, make connections, a group of you people, and make alliances and try to convince them to fund your revolution. And expect to be called a terrorist, a Nazi, and a commie, and a threat to everything decent, and the military to be at your door. But if you really want this and you really believe in it, you'll do it. At this point, with what I know, I do it. I just can't. I'm literally, my lot in life is assigned a scapegoat to control people for Alphabet, right? I'm a scapegoat to control people for Alphabet, to make them think raping kids is justice so they can do their white nationalist breeding program. That's my lot. I don't have a lot outside of that. I can't change that. But some of you who are not yet surveilled, not yet watched, you can do this. Okay? But you must have a means to communicate and organize outside of Alphabet, obviously, right? They're banking it will never happen, but it can happen. And at this stage of the plot, they've sacrificed talent for criminality, so they're not that strong, while also guessing that you'll never figure this out, and you'll still keep going to those DSA meetings you plan on Discord, still keep going to those Low Kings rallies like it does anything. And that no one of you will figure out you must form an alliance with the CCP and put forth to them that you want to overthrow the fucking government. You have a group of people and you need help with comms and weapons, and they will give it